Good evening. Overseas Filipino worker Julie B. Ranara's relative says her gruesome death would only be given justice if her killer was sentenced to life in prison. But the relative says he would also favor a death penalty sentence. Ranara's brother, Ernor Reyes, says their family is happy now that a court in Kuwait has convicted the migrant worker's killer, 17-year-old Turki Ayed Al-Azmi. But while the development is welcomed, Reyes admits that the jail sentence is insufficient, adding that he would also favor a death penalty sentence given to his sister's killer. But Reyes says that some say that the death penalty sentence wouldn't be given to Al-Azmi because he is still a minor. He added that that is why they are pushing for life in prison.
Kaya po kami, at the same time, parang medyo malungkot po na ang bilis po ng action nila, not unlike to other na nangyari sa abroad na one year, wala pa. Pero kami, ilang months pa lang, lumabas na agad yung decision. So, siyempre, in-expect po kasi namin na medyo mataas yung magiging, parang like sentence niya doon. Medyo hindi po namin maintindihan bakit gano'n.
Al-Azmi, who is the son of Ranara's employer, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for murder and 1 year for driving without a license. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs, the lesser penalties were due to the accused being a minor. Reyes says their lawyers will still verify if their family can issue a motion of appeal and request a higher penalty against Al-Azmi. The Department of Foreign Affairs says the Philippines is hoping to discuss the possible resumption of overseas Filipino worker deployment in Kuwait. In a phone interview with INQUIRER.net, DFA Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega says it is a positive step that the Ranara family has secured justice and that they acknowledge the efforts of Kuwait. To recall, the murder of overseas Filipino worker Julie B. Ranara early 2023 prompted the Department of Migrant Workers to temporarily stop processing applications of first-time OFWs bound for Kuwait. Kuwait's Ministry of Interior, on the other hand, has suspended the issuance of all types of entry visas for Filipinos. De Vega says that depending on the decision of the DMW, he thinks that talks with Kuwait may be resumed to lift the suspension on both sides. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. commends the Philippine Embassy in Kuwait, the Department of Migrant Workers, and the Kuwaiti authorities for their work on Ranara's case. Marcos hopes justice will be served to the OFW accordingly. President Bongbong Marcos Jr. will not attend the United Nations General Assembly in September. Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Jose Manuel Babe Romualdez, confirms that Marcos will be skipping this year's UNGA in the United States. Instead, Marcos will be represented by Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, who will cover topics such as climate change in behalf of the President. The UN General Assembly 2023 will be taking place from September 9 to 15 in New York, USA. The Police Provincial Office of Abra says that investigators are now establishing the motive behind the murder of a lawyer in Abra. The police began their investigation after lawyer Maria Sanyata Alzate was gunned down in front of her home in Bangued Town at around 4:55 p.m. In a radio interview, Abra Police Provincial Office Public Information Officer Police Captain Ronaldo Eslabra says the investigators are now looking into the motives, if any, so that they can study it and have a process of elimination to identify the real reason for killing the lawyer. Philippine National Police Chief Benjamin Acorda says the PNP has formed a special investigation task group to probe the murder of the lawyer. Meanwhile, initial investigation showed that at least 8 bullet cartridges had been recovered from the crime scene. Eslabra says Alzate was shot multiple times, with CCTV footage showing that her assassins, after shooting her, returned and fired some more shots. ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro says that if Vice President Sara Duterte does not have respect for her, then the feeling is mutual. In a briefing by the Makabayan Bloc, Castro says that while she may also have no respect for Duterte, she respects the office of the Vice President. The lawmaker hopes Duterte can respect her office too by answering questions hounding OVP, particularly regarding the use of 125 million peso worth of confidential funds in 2022. Castro also urges Duterte to answer their questions anew, claiming that the vice president has resorted to spreading lies about her instead of addressing the issue head-on. Duterte, over the past few days, has questioned Castro's qualification to determine the presence of wrongdoing in the release of confidential funds to OVP, noting that she is neither an auditor nor a lawyer. Meanwhile, Castro and Gabriela Party List Representative Arlene Brosas were repeatedly asked whether they do have proof of any wrongdoing, particularly in the issue involving the Office of the Vice President confidential funds for 2022. According to Brosas, they may only be able to get more information that would serve as evidence if agencies and offices report how CIFs were spent. Makabayan contends that the OVP should not have any confidential funds for 2022 as the original budget, crafted under former Vice President Leni Robredo's time, did not have a line item for CIFs. However, Duterte maintains that a Commission on Audit investigation would clear them from any alleged wrongdoing. The Movie and Television Review and Classification Board condemns the unfounded personal attacks directed at Chairperson Jorela Lala Sotto Anton. In a statement released on Thursday by the MTRCB, Sotto is said to have become the target of alarming online attacks. The MTRCB says it has experienced a surge in threatening messages on their official social media pages, including explicit rape and death threats directed at Sotto. The regulatory board further says that it acknowledges the importance of constructive criticism and open dialogue, but it condemns any form of threats, harassment, or violence which runs counter to the principles of a Filipino value-based media and entertainment culture that the MTRCB upholds. This apparently came after the MTRCB issued last September 4 its ruling to suspend ABS-CBN's It's Showtime for 12 airing days due to show hosts Vice Ganda and Ayon Perez's alleged indecent acts. Manny Pacquiao reiterates his desire to represent the Philippines in the Paris 2024 Olympics in a bid to fulfill a lifelong dream. Philippine Olympic Committee President Abraham Bambol Tolentino first bared last August 30 that Pacquiao is interested in a shot at an Olympic medal in Paris next year. The 8th Division World Champion doubled down on his comment to join the national team during the Maharlika Pilipinas Volleyball Association launch. The 44-year-old boxing icon, who retired in 2021 to make way for his presidential bid, says he is still hoping to win a gold medal. Pacquiao, who currently weighs 66 kilograms, needs to go through the 2 Olympic qualifying tournaments scheduled early next year.
Excited naman ako dyan dahil from the beginning, di ba, sabi ko, napunta ako sa Manila kasi gusto kong masali sa Philippine team nung araw. Kaso lang hindi ako nakuha, na-reject ako dahil hindi daw ako marunong. So, napilitan ako mag-professional at age of 16. So, yun yung dahilan nun. Pero from the beginning, ang pangarap puso ko ay makakuha ng gold medal sa Olympics.
Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Anthris Arceo ng Bandera.
Hello Neil! At hello sa lahat ng kabandera natin all over the universe. Narito ang latest chika for today. Umalma ang dating aktres na si Neri Miranda matapos makatanggap ng sandamakmak na batikos sa kanyang ginawang weekly meal plan. Layunin sana ni Neri ang makatulong at maturuan na maging wais ang mommies tulad niya. Ngunit marami sa mga netizens ang pumalag dahil hindi raw makatotohanan ng meal plan na ginawa nito, lalo na sa panahon ngayon kung saan napakataas ng presyo ng mga bilihin. Pagpapaliwanag ni Neri, sample lang ang kanyang ginawa para magkaroon ng idea ang mga mommies kung paano makakatipid. Bukod pa rito, sinabi rin niyang mula sa bakulan nila ang ibang ingredients na nakasaad sa kanyang weekly meal plan, gaya ng mga gulay at itlog, kaya umabot lang ng 1,000 ang kanyang budget. Ayon pa kay Neri, Nakadepende rin ang budget sa kung gaano karaming miyembro ang meron sa isang pamilya. Kung nasa 1 hanggang 3 tao lang naman ay kayang-kaya naman daw ang 1,000. Pinalagan rin ni Neri ang komento ng isang netizen na rich people making a content about the situation of the poor. Aniya, galing rin siya sa hirap kaya alam niya kung paano maging madiskarte. Pinayuhan niya rin ang mga followers na dapat ay matuto magtanim ang mga ito upang sa gayon ay makatipid na rin sa mga bilihin at siguradong fresh pa ang gagamiting sangkap. Sa ngayon ay deleted na ang weekly meal plan post ni Neri. At yan nga ang latest showbiz chika for today. Tutok lang sa bandera para sa mas may init pang pasabag sa mundo ng showbiz. Maraming salamat, Neil.
Maraming salamat, and here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Kin of slain OFW in Kuwait, Julie B. Ranara seeks death penalty, says punishment of 15 years in jail for suspect not enough. ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro responds to VP Sara Duterte's comment that she has no respect for her, saying the feeling is mutual. And 8th Division World Champion Manny Pacquiao reiterates desire to fight in the Paris Olympics. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.